Alrighty, welcome to the visual cast. Thank you for joining the live stream. Whether you're watching live or watching after, means a lot. And doing these live streams, it's really been a really nice experience to see kind of the reaction from the audience. Really, people that join the live stream are getting so much value out of it from being able to ask questions to the guests and joining in on the polls. So I hope to see you guys next live stream as well. Thank you for supporting the channel. As usual, I always say it's just been such a great journey to be able to do this podcast, and all the feedback that I get whenever I release episodes is super amazing and feels so good. So yeah, I'm just really enjoying this journey, and thank you all for being on it with me. Okay, so this week we have a very special guest. It's been on before, actually the first episode of the visual cast, almost 2 years ago. Such an amazing and irreverent character in the scene of visuals and visual arts. Quite the master. I know he doesn't like when I say that, but quite the master of the visual arts, and a good friend. So welcome to the podcast, Julius Horsthuis. Butchered it again, but I try every time. It's a good one. Horsthuis. Yeah, Horsthuis. Thanks for being on, dude. It's been a while. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's great. That episode is always, it's so interesting because when I reach out to guests to kind of come on, I send them, depending on who I'm reaching out to, I'll send them like, oh, here, check out this episode or check out this episode, and like 9 times out of 10 I use your episode as a reference because of how you're just such a kind of figure. People know you, besides for just being like a famous figure. You're just like you're like such a balanced dude, that it's like, I know that if I send somebody this interview with you, they're going to be like, oh, this is cool, I'm on board too. And so far it's worked really well. So, I'm really happy that you were the first, and that it's there forever. So just before we jump into here to the interview, I just want to remind anybody in the chat that we have a poll going on to kind of decide what we're going to do for Julius's set. We have 3 options. We have Mandelbulb, obviously. That's Julius's bread and butter. I'd say you're probably like the best Mandelbulb user out there, or most prolific out there. I know you won't say it, but I will say it. We also have After Effects. You're an After Effects master, so it'll be super cool to see kind of how you do things in After Effects. And as a extra, we have recoloring, which is kind of an interesting option, which could be interesting as well. So yeah, definitely vote in the poll. Let us know what you want to see and do. And also, we have a nice little commenting system. So if you comment different types of softwares, we get a little animation here. So Touch Designer being my favorite one. We can kind of do that and get a little animation going. Yay, that's cool. Yeah. Towland is saying thank you for making it on his time zone. So you're totally welcome. And you're also mentioning that Julius's audio is not working. Why is that? Let's see here. I see why. This one and this one. Julius, give us a little test.
Yeah, so I was saying before, thank you for having me.
Okay.
The problem now is that I do hear myself in echo.
Oh no. Maybe on your, here, let's try this. We can just deafen you here. Okay. It's a good thing we did a 20-minute setup to make
Now
sure
I
everything was
don't hear
working.
you at all.
Okay. Now do you hear me?
I do hear you.
But you hear me, you hear yourself twice still?
Yeah, I hear myself coming.
Oh.
So it's possible I could talk a little bit different, but it's going to be a bit harder. But I can work with it if it needs to be.
But wait a second. There's a. I'm not really sure why you would hear yourself twice. It's. Oh, I see. I see why. Let me fix it. I can fix it right now. Okay. And then
I
that
think I
should
hear myself,
be correct.
but not
Do you
you.
hear yourself twice? Do you hear yourself twice, Julius, or do you not hear me at all? Oh. Like this. Now you hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. Now it's good. Thank you.
Good. Okay, cool. So we should be good to go. Sorry about that. Let's just try that one more time.
So what I
But
was
now I hear
saying to the
myself
people who
twice.
didn't hear me the first time, oh, you hear yourself twice.
You're good.
Well,
You're
I
good.
was
Keep on
saying
going.
thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for being here.
Um,
Let's go like this.
yeah, I was just telling the people who couldn't hear me the first time. I know you could hear me.
Of course, it's a pleasure to have you. Now, the stream should hear me, and you should hear me. You can hear me still?
I can hear you, and I can't
And
hear myself, so everything is good.
okay, good. We did it. It only took a few minutes. It's fine. Um, all right. So back on track where we were. Yeah. I was just mentioning that it's great to have you on, and I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about what's been going on with you recently, which is that you have been producing or releasing, I guess is the right way to say that, a super interesting tutorial series about fractal making. Um, here's just gonna play this one in the background here while we talk about it. Um, just give us a little bit of information about kind of what you've been doing and what this tutorial series is all about, so people can get some information about it.
Well, it's really just that sometimes uh, I get some questions about obviously my workflow, and I get a lot of like, hey, what kind of computer do you have, or how do you do this, or how do you do that? And I usually refer to tutorials because it's always going to be a bit too hard to explain in a chat. And hadn't made any tutorials for a while, so it's like, okay, well, let's just do a few of this like common questions that I get, so I can recover them in a sort of like most modern and recent way. And as well, I wanted to go a little bit more in depth into immersive filmmaking because I just have
Mm,
thoughts about it, and there's no. It's obviously, especially when it comes to immersive, there isn't a big scene here or anywhere, at least here in Amsterdam, per se. So I thought it was just like an interesting thing to tackle some of the ideas, both in the technical sense and just like the the basically just like your thought, like my thought process that I have when I'm sort of thinking about, okay, what am I going to do with this dome, or what am I going to do with this immersive exhibit? There can be things like don't make um, don't go too bright on your
mm,
projector, because if you
mm,
have a lot of negative space, it'll look better when it's projected, like those types of things. And to what is immersive good for, like what kind of like storytelling or what kind of like experiences can you use it. So I just have some thoughts about that, and I thought it would be cool to sort of talk about that in this new tutorial series. So I've released three up to now. I think I'll probably release a few more. I don't know exactly what time
nice.
frame they is. It kind of it is kind of it takes a long time to make them. Um, and yeah, like in this tutorial that you're showing right now, I'm showing just
Dude,
my
my
process.
my favorite part is when you open up your virtual machines or whatever your other machines, and it's like
Right.
boom 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 render nodes.
Yeah.
It's so funny. This
Yeah,
one,
it's the
I
kind
love
of
it.
thing that I think is interesting to see for
Totally,
people, because
totally.
yeah, exactly. It's this part, because it sort of shows like what rendering can be like,
Right.
and how you can also have like already start compositing, because that's one of the things I'll do later in this tutorial. I'll fire up another set of renders with an extra layer that I need, and that you can just already start compositing after only the first 2 or 3 frames are in. So it's actually way more a real-time
Right.
process than many people think. When you say, "Oh, really? You have to render it for a week?" They think like, "I can't use my computer for a week, and I just have to
Right.
do, like." And it isn't like that. So I think that's something. It's like like a common misunderstanding, and I think you just need to see it. Like, oh, yeah, you have all these different things. You can render them. The frames come in. You can start already editing them, and that kind of thing. I think is important for people to see, because when you start by yourself, you don't have any sort of, like, you haven't learned that, or you haven't been in a visual effects industry or anything like that, you just don't know about it.
Hmm.
And it's actually pretty simple to set up. It's not super simple, but it's pretty simple.
It's simple enough, right? I love that you're kind of giving yourself, a more platform to share knowledge. I think also, when people think about tutorial series, they're thinking like, what we just saw, kind of in the computer, step by step by step. But you're also kind of giving a more, almost like a master class of like what it is that your thought process and how you approach things and how you design things and how you think about things, which is, besides for being super valuable for artists, I think is really valuable for yourself as well as, a person who's kind of looking into this stuff, is just to be able to, share this knowledge with people and get that kind of, it helps you, it helps your own self
Exactly.
kind of
Yeah,
get
it's
into it.
by forcing yourself to put it into words, because
Yeah,
that is just something that you like. Like everything that we do, it's all like a non-verbal thing. We sometimes
right,
we give like strange names to things that are, like, for instance, like fractal shapes or something like that. But the whole process is sort of like non-verbalized, and if you work by
right.
yourself, it can be very helpful to sometimes force yourself in order to talk about it, so that other people understand it, and helps yourself understand it. Oh, that's what I'm doing. Or sometimes just to, yeah, just to get yourself out of something, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, that's what I'm doing. This is like taking a step back and sort of looking at the whole picture. That can be helpful, and I think these tutorial series are, exactly like you said, helpful to myself for that reason as well.
Excuse me. Yeah,
Bless you.
awesome. Thank you. I'm so happy that you've been doing it, and I'm sure that it's gonna bring you a lot of positive energy and kind of help the community out, which I know is important to you as well. So yeah, keep on doing it, and we'll keep on talking about it, I guess. Another thing that's been really interesting that you've been up to is the Delemroy immersive experiences. It's a you were
Uh,
telling me a little bit more about it. It's like a French company that does like lots of different types of immersive experiences. I'm going to show one here as well. Yeah, just give us a little bit about that because it's super super interesting, and
sure.
I think
It is
it's
called
relatively new.
it is called Atelier des Lumières.
Des
So it's
Lumières.
like de Lumière. It's like Lumière means lights, and Atelier de Lumière means basically workshop of lights,
Hmm.
or studio of
Nice.
lights. They have they were the first immersive exhibit that did the Van Gogh thing,
Right.
like back in, like, maybe the halfway through the 2010s, so maybe
Hmm.
2014 or 15 or something like that. They had this like big warehouse in Paris, and they were like, okay, we're going to map the whole place, and we're going to show Van Gogh. And then that thing went completely viral, and then everyone, because you don't need any kind of license or something to do project Van Gogh, right? It's in the public domain. So
Right.
everyone started doing the Van Gogh exhibits after that. But I think it really started with them. So they're a pretty big immersive exhibit place here in Europe. I don't think they have any locations in the US, but they have
Okay.
locations in Paris, Bordeaux, Amsterdam. They just opened one in Hamburg, and they've got in Dubai, and I think one in Korea somewhere. But yeah, I created this. Well, actually, it was a piece that I created for the next museum in Amsterdam, which is a smaller place, and their CEO went there, and they saw it, and they were like, okay, can you adapt the the same piece for our locations in Bordeaux and
Really?
Paris. And then from Bordeaux, after I did that, then I adapted it for their Amsterdam and Dortmund locations. So this
Oh,
you're looking at, I think this is Phoenix de Lumiere. Yeah, that's in Dortmund. So the one that you're showing right now is in Dortmund. So yeah, it's an adaptation of an already immersive exhibit that is in a pretty big warehouse space.
so they saw your work and were just kind of like, we love your work, so come do your work here. Is that as simple as that?
Yeah, that's pretty much how simple it is. The
Wow.
the the CEO guy of that company, and it's a huge company, and
Right.
usually these companies are pretty conservative in a way. Like they're only showing Van Gogh or Matisse
Right.
or Klimt or like the old masters, and usually part of the reason is that those are all in the public domain, but
Oh,
also they're
gotcha.
very like like these are exhibits that are family like day tours, so they like in order to cover their costs they need to sell, I don't know, thousands of tickets per
For
day,
sure.
like
For sure. For sure.
for like for like so so they have these, like Tintin is another one that they did, although I
Yeah, I
don't
was
think
looking
that's
at
in
it
the
at their
public domain.
website. It's
Yeah,
Asterix and Obelix. I love it. I love the
yeah,
Asterix and Obelix. That's so funny. It was
yeah.
wait,
So
let's
they'll
just
have just
see
like
see
like super. Oh, really? I didn't know they had that one. Yeah. So this is usually what they sort of have, and then there's kind of brave and putting some like modern art in between.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only 5 minutes in between. So you're going to the
Oh,
pharaohs
interesting.
or the Tintin thing, and then you're gonna get my work as a little bonus
That's so
episode
cool.
in
So it's
between.
like almost like
It's on a
a
rotation.
it's on a rotation. It's not
Yeah, it's on a
interactive.
rotation.
It's just fully immersive.
No, yes,
Okay.
it's non-interactive. All of it is
Interesting.
non-interactive.
Interesting.
But
Yeah, I mean it's
these
super cool.
things are pretty. Yeah.
I've seen the Van
Sorry,
Gogh
go ahead.
one. It's super cool. They have
Yeah.
it.
So
I don't think it's theirs specifically, but I've
you
seen the
saw
Van
one out of like
right out of
40 different
tons.
Van Gogh
Right.
exhibits. Like
Right. Right.
everyone
Right. Right.
did Van Gogh stuff at some point. I think
Makes
there's
sense.
literally like 20 different ones. Yeah. People always think it's like the Van Gogh one, but there, yeah, there's so many.
We have a question here from Towland, a good friend of the show and a lovely human being. He's asking, he would love to hear more about the conceptual thinking behind immersive storytelling. Great question. If
Yeah,
we're already on
absolutely.
the topic.
So this is something that I am really sort of actively thinking about, and I can sort of maybe tell you where I'm at. Like this is like a process. So what I don't like first, I don't really like the word storytelling.
Mm.
I think it's a sort of overused, crazy word that a lot of like visual effects people are also like, yeah, it should all be about storytelling, all the cool effects and all the particles that you make and all the fluids that you render and all the whatever. It all needs to serve the purpose of the story because it's all about storytelling, which is
Right.
true, of course, but it also is a little bit of a creative bomb.
Mm.
Like it ends there. Like it's not really sparks any sort of imagination much. When I
Mm.
mean storytelling, I'm more talking about, like, stories often have like structure to it, right? And like an emotional curve,
Mm-hmm.
like a beginning, a middle, and an end, like three act
Mm.
structures maybe with a setup, and then something escalates, and there's this climax, and then there's this like um, like resolution or payoff, or and
Right.
there's like lots of different
Like
ways.
a three act kind of thing, like beginning,
Yeah,
middle,
that
and
like
end.
that's just, but yeah, yeah, exactly. That can be a three-act structure. You can also have it in two-act structures or in,
Right.
but three-act structures is what we're most familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
So that there is something in that structure that is sort of like almost hardwired in our brains, I guess, or at least we're so used to it because we're like consuming so much media that is like built that way,
Mm.
that when I mean storytelling for immersive exhibits, I'm sort of like trying to imagine something like that type of story. Like we're opening and then we're suddenly going inside, and then there's maybe something that speeds up, and then there's this like um, massive shot that is sort of the climax, and then there's a resolution. And that is a structure that sort of tricks your brain into thinking that it is looking at a story. And
Right.
what happens with fractals, but I think with a lot of digital art or like abstract art, is that your brain will very quickly start to weave a story through that. And
Mm,
people will then come
interesting.
to me and say, like, oh, I know what this was about. This was about this, or this was about that, or this was about that.
And you're
But
like,
people
mm-hmm,
immediately,
mm-hmm, sure.
yeah, no, yeah, I could play with that. Yeah, oh my God, you got
Oh
that
yeah,
right.
how'd you
You're the
know?
only person who guessed that. Uh, no, I obviously usually sort of like explain what I'm explaining now. That it's very personal, that people are making their own stories up, but that is
Mm,
sort of like also the whole purpose of the thing.
right.
But I don't think that will just happen with anything random. So you need structure. You need like some sort of like archetypal structure thing in there. And that's, I think it's way more similar to music and the way music theory goes. When
Mm-hmm.
that is also very much about structure, but not really about
Right.
story. So maybe
Mm,
storytelling is just the wrong word, and they haven't really settled on the right word yet.
mm, interesting.
But music is so much about structure and about like maybe there's like a melody, and then the melody will just like come back later, but then it will have changed or something like that, right? A
Right.
theme, or all, like there's like so many different things, and I think those
Totally.
are all applicable on a digital art, or especially digital art with a timeline.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, really
Did I
interesting.
answer the question?
I think I mean I definitely think you did. We'll wait to hear from Tao if you did.
Okay, cool.
Just to kind of like piggybacking on that question,
Mm,
like because I think it's such an interesting thing. Like when it comes to abstract art, which is kind of like a lot of what we're all doing, right? Like yeah, you can obviously like if you're playing on a big LED screen, you can put like characters and you can have like a very obvious story. Um, like beginning, middle, and end for sure. But when it comes to fractals, or when it comes to my kind of forte, mapping and things like this, it's so abstract that you really have to find that balance of, you know, like you're saying, like the intention behind the abstraction, and also like the obvious things behind storytelling. Like you said, like you start off with like a tunnel, and you go through a tunnel, and then all of a sudden you're in a big space, and that is going to evoke some sort of idea of like, here's the beginning, here's the middle, here's the end. um, but it's such an interesting kind of a topic, and it's actually interesting that Tao asked that topic, because his art is so full of iconography and characters, and like there's a clear like hero, or a clear kind of like um, a structure to what he's doing in his art. And I think that a lot of times when it comes to like visuals, or like VJ art kind of stuff, people forget that. It's more like, oh, what's that, looks cool, or that's a cool moment, or that's that goes well with the music. But just like in music, right? You can have like a really awesome dance track, but if the dance track also makes you like feel something through the art of, like you said, storytelling or whatever structure, it's going to elevate it to like another level. Um, so yeah, I feel like that's like a really interesting topic for one of your next tutorial series, is how to tell a story with abstract art. I feel like that's something that's like really, it doesn't, nobody teaches that. Like when I went to film school, I'm sure when you as well, like I learned the 3-act structure through a script, and okay, yeah, we learned like how to like what does a medium shot say versus a close-up shot, or what does this lighting say with this lighting. But it's not abstract, it's very specific, right? You have like a character, and they're doing stuff, or they're saying things. So learning how to like tell a story through abstract, I think, is a really interesting topic, and a difficult one, I think, as well.
it's very difficult, and that's why I'm saying I don't think I'm there yet.
Mm,
I haven't grasped it yet. I still
mm,
am playing around with. I think I'm sort of lucky with fractals that people are very. It's probably the easiest abstract thing where
to
people
be cool.
will create a story
Mm,
with,
mm,
and feels like almost like I'm deceiving by just, well, if I just have some cinematic music and we're just
Right.
doing a couple of things, then people will think that this is like super profound. And not really,
That's
but
funny.
um, but to actually do that sort of more consciously and is still something that I'm working on.
Mm.
So like, yeah, I have a few ideas for my new full dome film on how I'm going to sort of give that shape, um, which I can share if you want. But this
Please,
is
I think it's
something to
super
more.
interesting.
Okay, cool. So this might be a very lame idea as well. I haven't done it yet, but so one of the things, I have a full dome film recombination, and it's in the planetarium, and it's actually 8 short films that are sort of like bungled together. Um, and it's cool. It works. Like, people like it, but it's still, there's no like long story that's like from the beginning to the end, because they're like 8 different chapters. So, and also I guess people that are sort of like very easily, that like our kind of work, they will like it. They will enjoy it. Or if they like the kind of music that's in there, it's got obviously cool music for Desert Dwellers and Michael Stearns and David Levy
It's also available
and
in VR,
others.
right?
And it's available in VR, exactly. So people that are just like there for that, they'll have a great time. But
Mm-hmm.
there will be people who are more expecting like a cinema type of experience, and
Mm-hmm.
who will like really go see it and like, well, it was all pretty, but what was it about?
Right.
What did I actually watch? So I want to give the fractals a little bit more of a nudge into sort of reality. So this is my plan for. I'll just tell you, because it's not
Please.
a spoiler or anything, I think, but I want to. Um, so it's a film of 45 minutes, and the whole 45 minutes is just we're going through fractals. It's like very slow moving, and it'll have meaning and all these types of things. And then suddenly we're sort of rushed, and we're sort of like going through a fractal, and we end up in the real world.
Oh,
And it's just like
wow.
one scene is non-fractal, and is actually basically like a time lapse of a human life of
Ah.
1 minute. So it's like a human life, like from birth to death, in like a
Mm-hmm.
single minute. And it's like super fast and super rushed. It's like a crazy. And then after that, we're going back into the fractals, and they're sort of like super um, like slow moving and way more peaceful. So it's basically gives a little. I hope to give a little context that the whole timeline. Just sorry, I gotta get this little thing. The whole timeline of the film is like a super long time, of which like the human life is only like a super small
Short.
part,
Mm.
and like a really like, like that's your little time on Earth, and then the rest is like, so it gives more like context of like the vastness of time and
Right.
space and on all these types of things. So really
Interesting.
to sort of take that as a concept, and just by having that like 1 minute, which is 1 minute out of 45 minutes, to be non-fractal, and to suddenly get that, I'm sort of hoping to get that idea across. But it's going to be super hard to do, so I don't know how I'm going to do it yet. But
Wow.
yeah.
So exciting. Such a good idea. I mean, it's like kind of the fractal nature of things is the micro macro, right? Like fractals are that kind of both that micro universe, or like, that what is it called, nanoparticle universe, but also like the universe outside of the cosmos and everything, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of, that. And in the middle, like you said, is us, right? Like our little tiny speck of time.
Yeah.
Super cool. I love that idea. And also bringing in, when you said bringing in like real footage, I was immediately thinking of like road structures or like city structures, how they're very like almost in a way fractalized, not always, but
Mm.
sometimes, or even just like nature is very fractalized. But I think I love the idea of just like, jumping out of the fractal nature of things into something more or less abstract, but is still a fractal nature of things, right? Like a life is some sort of fractalization of
Yeah.
your past life,
Sure.
of your children's life, of whatever you want to, connect to it. Super cool, very exciting. When is that going to be released? The new Dome film?
I have no idea yet,
Okay.
but I mean, I'm
Okay.
like, I'm working on it, and I hope to. I mean, it's probably going to take another year or something for it to
Okay.
finish, but yeah,
Okay.
something
Cool.
like that. Yeah.
Awesome. We got another question from Tao. Thank you so much, Tao, for the questions. Do you build and design for specific structures or sort of adapt content to various shapes? Interesting question.
Yeah. So no, I don't build for specific structures, and this is the kind of thing that, especially with fractals, is always going to be hard to do. That the fractal itself is that, like, the mathematics dictates what the shape will be, and
Mm-hmm.
never something external actually dictates that. So
Uh-huh.
when it comes to a space or anything like that, and doing anything else with that space, as in treating the space as a void, is sort of like, doesn't really work well. That being said, the clip that you just played from Atelier de Lumiere,
Delumiere.
it is an adaptation where I'm sort of rendering this like huge 360 like canvas,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually had an assistant who was sort of using that canvas to map it on all the walls, because there was like, it's a very complex structure, and there's walls over there, and there's a thing over there, and there's a thing in the middle, and there's a floor, and we want all the seams to be pretty good. So that whole thing was with a pretty big puzzle, um, which took months to solve. But that was basically done with like one huge render for all the walls and one huge render for the floor, and then we're sort of like shifting and moving our things around a little bit. But the whole idea
Interesting.
of it is that you don't feel the space,
Right.
as opposed to mapping art, where the space is
I-
the is the thing
Forefront.
that
Yeah.
dictates the exactly. You it's highlighting the space versus trying to hide the space. And in my
Mm-hmm.
type of art, it's really trying to hide the space, trying to make the walls disappear and fall away, and try to be inside the the the, the fractals as much as possible.
Interesting. Interesting. So it's almost like abstraction of the space in some way. So just out of interest, when you rendered, so were you rendering like a cube map, or you were rendering a full 360 like e-rectangular map, or you rendered two separate videos for the floor and the top, or the floor and the walls?
Yeah, it's two separate videos. So the walls would be, it's neither a cube map or equirectangular.
Okay.
It's probably
A wide
like
angle,
like a wide angle, 180
panoramic.
degrees. Yeah, kind of panoramic. Mandelbub has weird ways of doing this. So I have
I'm
to
so
render
surprised.
basically two panoramics that are like, that then have some overlap, and then you'll build some sort
Oh,
of like long
wow.
360 panoramic from it, like a cylinder
Interesting.
type of thing,
Like a
even though it's not
yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
perfect cylinder.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Wow, that's so cool. And is I guess it's what is it called? Like the it's not a simulation, so I guess it's if you run it twice, it's the same each time, right? Deterministic.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's nothing random or simulated about
Right.
fractals. So it's the file is super light, and it renders exactly the same every
Right. You
time.
just change the camera perspective.
Yeah,
Interesting. Is
I can
that
just
that's
change it
so cool.
180 degrees. Yeah, and then it'll
Interesting.
match. Yeah.
And just like another kind of one around that, when you're rendering like 360, is there a 360 camera in Mandobulb? Are you making a cube map of each piece?
So there is a equirectangular camera in Mandelbulb, which I haven't used for a while,
Okay,
because it's like it does the full three,
360.
yeah, like everything, right, like a full sphere, which I am usually not really using.
Gotcha.
So for domes, I only use half a sphere, so I don't want to render like and then throw away half. um, and because render time is so precious. And then for these immersive exhibits, it doesn't. Yeah, you could sort of reproject the sphere on the space, but I don't do that. I'll use other methods.
Interesting. Is it like stuff that you've just kind of made along the way? Not stuff built into Mandobulb. You're kind of like hacking it in a way.
Yeah, I mean, not really hacking it. There's nothing to hack. There's only
No.
three types of cameras in Mandelbub,
Okay.
but it's more
Gotcha.
like you sort of you have the space. You know what space you need to make your thing for. You know what resolution it is. You know the all the limits, and so usually, yeah, when it's like I don't have the whole ceiling to render, I'm not going to render 360. I'll rather just render like a front view and a side view and a bottom view. So I'll
and
render
then stitch
multiple
it together.
passes, and then they stitch together perfectly. Yeah,
Interesting.
because
Wow,
you can do
that's cool.
pretty precise camera. You can do like exact 45-degree camera move.
Right, right. Well, a cube
Sometimes
map
you
is
have to
just
get.
that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Cube map you could do, but usually the spaces that you work in are they're never cubes. They're always
Totally. No, but I mean
rectangles. Yeah.
like e-rectangular and dome. All of those projections are taking a cube map and reprojecting them. It always starts with a cube map. You always have
I mean,
right,
no, no,
left,
no,
front, top, bottom.
no. That's not. I mean, equirectangular doesn't start with a cube map. It just starts with equirectangular. That's how it's rendered.
Okay.
There is
I
no
mean,
cube
from
map involved
uh,
well, at least in Mandelbrot or in even 3D Studio Max or something. If I
really.
render equirectangular in V-Ray,
No,
it
no,
doesn't
for
go
sure.
through cube map.
Your output is e-rectangular, but the e-rectangular is built from a camera looking here, a camera looking there, a camera looking top,
No,
bottom. No,
no, it
okay,
doesn't
at
have
least
to be. No,
okay. That's how
in,
I
at least not
understood it.
in ray tracing or in ray marching software. You don't need to do that. But you're probably right when it comes to like rasterization types of,
Yeah,
so maybe an Unreal,
programs.
which cannot do ray tracing,
Yeah,
like direct ray tracing. I guess it's
right.
rasterization. Then it might make sense, but
Right, I guess you're right. There
not in the
is like
software
an
that I work with.
e-rectangular like formula that is capturing, but I guess yeah. No, from what I know from 360, at least when it comes to Unreal and Touch Designer and like even things like Resolume where they have like that 360 camera, it's based on the cube map that's then being reprojected onto that
Got it. That
e-rectangular
makes sense because
formula.
okay, so yeah, I understand. So I guess that makes sense because they need to do it on GPU, and
Right,
GPU usually uses rasterization, and
right,
rasterization can only do straight lines. So
right,
like the fisheye, like literally my shot right now is a fisheye, and this bookshelf here is like all the lines are curved,
right.
which is basically what a sort of 360 projection would be like.
Totally.
But Unreal Engine or games or rasterization
Yeah.
GPU rendering software can usually
Right.
not do that,
Yeah.
only as a
Well,
post
also
effect or something. Yeah.
the nice thing about
So then it
e-rectangular
makes
is you
sense.
the nice thing about e-rectangular is you don't get those you don't get those fisheye curves. It's like straight all around.
Let me think. You don't get the vertical lines, but the horizontal lines would get
You do?
curved, except the horizon. You
Ah,
absolutely
okay,
do.
like your focal point is straight. That makes sense actually, because I
Your
guess it
The
is right. It is
horizon would be
spherical.
straight, but the house, like the rooftop of the house that you're standing, that would be curved
It would be
this way.
curved.
Yeah.
Interesting. So interesting. I mean, I guess it's like, it's like you skin a cat 20 different ways. Each program
It's
does their own
it's
thing.
basically it's the same problem as trying to draw like a globe, the the, the world map
Oh,
onto a plane. You always have to sacrifice something. Either it's
yeah.
like Greenland's way too big compared to Africa,
Yeah,
or
yeah, I love
Greenland
that.
is like completely squished.
Yeah.
And they're always like something's got to give. It's impossible to do it correctly.
Totally.
And the same
Totally.
thing as with these 360 things.
Mm.
It's trying to fit a sphere onto a flat thing, which is just not possible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
There's always going to be something you're going to have to give in. Interesting.
exactly. Yeah.
Um, okay, so another thing I want to talk to you about before we get into your set here, and it seems like based on the polls, we're looking at it's 50-50 between Mandelbulb and recoloring. So I think we'll wait for it to come in fully, but Mandelbulb seems like
Sure.
the more interesting route.
Mandelbobs will be fun. Sure.
Mandelbulb will be fun. Um, you played Tipper this past year at the Gorge, right? Is
No,
that right? Or
the
not the Gorge?
Orion.
The Orion. Sorry. The Orion, the
Yeah,
big, beautiful building.
it
Um,
was a great venue. Yeah.
yeah, tell us a little bit about that experience. You've been kind of in the Tipper sphere for a while now, so I'm sure kind of like getting to come to the United States of America, best country in the world, just saying, and and showing your art to so many people that are super excited about seeing it. Must feel really great. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, it was a crazy experience.
Trying to find.
Yeah, you're saying I'm in the Tippers scene for a while, but that's not really true. I haven't really
No?
done any Tipper. I was once at a Tipper and Friends thing in Florida, right at the
Yeah,
Sewanee
at the Swanee.
in 2019. But I did one set, not a Tipper set, but I forgot actually which artist I was doing a set for, but it was fun and it was all good. But yeah, this was a completely different experience for me because I don't often do live sets. I've worked with Joao Datagrama
Shout
at Boom
out.
Festival a few times for sure, and so he had this whole thing set up where he uses the center screen and then projects it onto the rest of the arena, and it was just such an amazing venue, and it was such a perfect way to, because at Boom Festival it's usually like a small screen, and then there is this like, you know, beautiful art piece that is sort of the stage, but my work really doesn't work that well for that. Yeah, these are um, exactly examples. So this this was just a perfect place where that beautiful center screen, which is almost like a cinema screen and it is huge, and then that'll sort of like make sense, and Joao will take my work and put it there in a beautiful way. So that was just, and then it's not something that we have here in Europe um, where there's just like this whole appreciation for the visuals in a place like
Totally,
that. That
totally,
is not
totally.
something that I've ever seen anywhere else except
It's very
for
unique.
it is very unique.
Yeah,
And I sort of knew about that a little bit, I guess, but yeah, seeing it firsthand and seeing how much attention to detail and time and love goes into all the setup with the projectors and everything, just to make that whole experience perfect. That was a really beautiful experience, and it was by far the best like visual set that I've ever done, and it
hell yeah,
worked just very well. So
hell yeah.
that, yeah, that was just a really cool. I don't think it's going to happen again because now Tipper is gonna stop.
There'll be
But
other events.
yeah, yeah. I mean, perhaps. I mean, it's specific, like specifically this like Tipper fan base
Yeah,
that is so much into like
the
into the
visuals.
visual into the visuals. And so I'm not sure if that's, well, the probably,
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
what's going to
the
happen.
fan base is the fan base is like, you know, the bass scene in general. I think you are
Mm,
right that like the Tipper and Friends events have a huge focus on the visuals, and like people know that they're coming to this event, they're gonna get this kind of like high end, high quality experience. But I think it already has for many years spilled out into the rest of the scene. Obviously not the entire scene, but you know, many festivals or events are kind of focused around the visuals. And I mean, recently you've had the past year you've had events curated by VJs. Zip, our friend Zip Visuals, Matt did an event. I guess like earlier this year, and Joe Tenorless also did an event recently, pretty semi recently, where it's like focused around the VJs. And yeah, you're right. It's really interesting that this fan base is so, you know, I kind of relate it to like a little bit like Modem, where in Modem people are coming to see the visuals. It's
mm,
different where like people are coming to see the visuals at Modem. They don't necessarily know the artist. Obviously, everybody knows Tass, you know, but sometimes people are just coming. They just know that it's going to be curated really well. Like whatever they see is going to be really good. I think where it really kind of goes to the next level in the States is like not only do people know they're going to get a visual experience, they're also excited by the artists that are playing. They know them. You know, we were talking before about Keith Fractal Visions, you know, and in the episode that we did, we talked about this a lot. Is like kind of this almost pioneering aspect of like the VJ. Not only is the VJ on the flyer, but the VJ being on the flyer is bringing in people to the event, which is like, you know, it's kind of unheard of. I would say pretty
mm.
much. You know, definitely like smaller scenes have the famous VJs of the, like the local people, but I think in like a global sense, it's pretty unique, and especially like when you're talking about, you know, the Tipper and Friends events are like 10,000 people. You know, they're big events, so maybe even more. So yeah, I think it's really cool, and for a visual artist, it feels really good. You know, like people are here to see your work. Um, which is kind of why I meant, which is kind of what I meant by saying you're in the Tipper sphere, because people are excited to see your work. They know you.
Yeah,
They're
no, so
excited to
that's
see it.
yeah, so exactly. So I know that a lot of like the people that follow me, I guess, are from that sphere. So yeah, you're absolutely. It's just that I haven't really done a tipper event before
Outside
last
of
year at the
totally, totally.
in Alabama. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to get people over. Okay, so really awesome. I'm sure you'll be back in the States. I don't even, I'm not even, no doubt in my mind. There's also, once the Tipper sphere ends, there will be a new sphere that opens. And that's already like, we don't have to get into all that stuff, but that will happen for sure. Cool. So let's jump into your set here. Let's get your screen share going. If you want to just enable that.
Yeah, I can enable that.
And let's get
Let's
into
see.
some Mandelbulb madness. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. So yeah, take it away, and
Well,
I'll holler at you if we have anything specific.
so what do you want me to what do you want me to just to show some Mandelbulb to create something, right? Is that like the
Yeah, yeah, like kind of
okay?
give us a little
Cool.
bit of a walkthrough. Can you just click that little hide on the bottom there on the stop sharing? There's like a little hide button. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, take it away. I mean, take it wherever you want. Feel
Yeah.
like whatever
Okay.
feels good for you.
Um, I'm sort of thinking. So usually, like most of the time, I won't start with an empty Mandelbulb anymore. I rarely do that. I'll start somewhere with a scene that I've already got that I will then change a little bit. So maybe that's something that we can do. Um, I was playing around a little bit with this one yesterday. So let me just uh, let me just see what that looks like, because it's sometimes it's pretty difficult to see, right? So I'm always like a little bit conscious of um, is this like clear what I'm doing or not? So please, like whenever there's any kind of questions,
For sure.
let's ask about them. Or let me actually open a different scene. Just I think this one was pretty cool as well.
So is it like almost like a template that you've assessed, or is it just a
No,
formula, like just a different formula?
no. There's just like a lots. There's like lots of different sets, or no, not sets, scenes that I have
Scenes. Gotcha.
that I just opened to use
Oh,
as a sort of like
you know what?
starting point.
You know what I wanted to see? The image that I used for the for the episode. It's let me just pick it up. It's like it looks like a crowd standing in front of standing in
Oh
front
yeah,
of a scene. Like that is so trippy that it's like, that you have this like almost human looking kind of thing. And the fact that they're all looking at a stage or whatever, somewhat of a stage, is so trippy. Is that an easy one to pull up?
can you? Yeah, I can. If you can, um, I don't. From yeah, so
This I'll show
I
you this one.
need to see it. Yeah, if you can show me,
This
I'll
one.
be good.
Can you see that?
Okay, so it is a composite, right? So the crowd is real. The crowd isn't
Oh,
fractal.
okay. Interesting. Oh, I didn't know that. Because it looks like they're like kind of 3D-ish. It's just, I guess it's like a photogrammetry of some sort.
Oh, wait. Oh, it is the photogrammetry one. Sorry, I
It
got it.
is, right?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it is the photogrammetry. Okay, this is interesting. No, I was like, yeah, I see it now better. Yeah, you're right. Okay. So let's think about where I have that. Um, okay, I do have to find it, but it's an interesting one. Yeah, it is. There is definitely photogrammetry going on. Okay, let me try and find the map that I used for that. So this is like a really crazy hack, basically. That
We like hacks.
um, yeah. So it's not. This is not a beginner level stuff,
Oh,
but that's
advanced.
okay.
Yes, let's go. The advanced visual
Um,
cast extreme extreme fractals.
I think
Fractals
this is the
advanced.
map. Yeah, this is advanced. So
Uh-huh.
you know what, like you know what like a depth map is, right?
Yeah.
Let me open this one. This is like one of the band members from Meshuggah.
Oh, cool.
It's like a metal band, and they had like their faces scanned in this like Swedish like I think it's the game because they're like friends of the people who make Doom, so or Wolfenstein
Uh-huh.
actually. So the like the game studio where they did Wolfenstein, so they had their face in the scan, and they
Nice.
gave me the 3D model. I can try and pull it up. I could try and open 3D Studio Max and open this up. Why don't I try and just open it in the background? So basically, you get a 3D model and you make a Z depth from it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can see his nose here is a little bit brighter than his ears because it's
Yeah.
protruding a bit more, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a Z buffer, but we're using it as a depth map. And this is the only way that you can get a. Wait, did I just open? Wait, I thought I opened 3D Studio Max. Okay, all right. So let me just get a clean Mandelbulb for a second. So this photo here, this is the crowd. Oh, it's asking for Octane. This is a depth map of that crowd that you just showed in that picture,
Mm-hmm.
like top down.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is I got a lot of like 3D models in 3D Studio Max, and I like made a top render, and then the
Mm.
depth map, like the Z buffer from the top render is this. So it's not. You can see their heads are a little brighter than their shoulders and all that.
Uh-huh.
So this you can
Interesting.
get into Mandelbulb. Um,
Wow.
Let me get Mandelbulb open. So this is the sort of the height map. Um,
Workflow.
yeah, hack basically in order to, if you want like an object in Mandelbulb. Height map IFS, right? Let's
Hmm.
like start with a simpler one. Let's start with the 710. So basically, this is just a number which I have to then type in here in formulas, and then it's 700. Hey, what the hell is going on? Okay, 710.
Just referencing that
Okay,
folder.
referencing that file.
That file. Yeah,
That's right.
in the folder. Oh, cool.
So here, okay, so
Interesting.
here we have this dude. So now you see that it's actually inverted. So this is like that's why I said this is like super hacky. We've got to figure out which one the eye offset is. We'll just move it like that. Oh yeah, of course it's H scale. So this should be negative. And then if that
Oh,
guy's
wow. There we
face
go.
start coming
It's
out.
appearing. Yeah.
So this, yeah. So it's actually pretty like, as you can see, the way it's pretty decent a 3D
Yeah. Very
model. See, it's
detailed.
pretty
Yeah.
like high, exactly high, like detailed. Even from the side,
Mm-hmm.
you can see like his nose and like the brows and the mouth and his beard. And this is all coming from this
That one image.
bit like this one image. It's just that you can't see the um, the values very well, but it's like a 32-bit image. It has to be high bit, otherwise it would be
Yeah.
like very stair steppy. Right. So it's just a plane that is sort of like pushed out depending on the values of that image, and that gives
Mm-hmm.
me this 3D model. This is how you get a 3D model in Mandelbulb.
Interesting.
You can do cool things with this, like Boolean stuff. So then I showed you this picture at 809. So if I change this number to 809, 809, enter, I should get, it looks like noise now. Probably get this a bit less intense. Whoa. Uh, 0.05, 0.05, okay, and then the scale, oh, 0.05. If I push out this scale, now we're going to see the crowd. or a sort of 3D model of that crowd. It's very hard to see. I realize that probably if I render
Well,
this, view to
it looks like
main.
you kind of see something. You do see like protrusions of somewhat. But is it
Yeah,
like is it a
and
fractal per se, or is it just literally just a depth map on a plane?
no, it's a it's a depth map on a plane, and it's a hack to
Gotcha.
get a 3D
Gotcha.
model into the
So you
fractal
can
because there's
so you can
otherwise no way to
boolean and
do it. So this is
gotcha.
this is how I did that. You can boolean
Interesting.
it, or yeah, exactly. And this is the way that's done. So it's not a
So
fractal, but
cool.
this is the only way to do something like that in a single shot. Now, if
Gotcha.
I knew the time I made that, I would probably find the exact scene of that thing that you're showing me.
Yeah, yeah, fair
But
enough.
yeah, no. So it is not a fractal, but it is done in the fractal software. But this
Cool.
is, I mean, it's endless and it's sort of like rendered with the same types of things as the fractal is. But yeah, the thing itself is not fractal. And
Interesting.
I've done some fractals with like some photogrammetry of Amsterdam houses and these types of things. Um, and yeah, you exactly like you said, you can boolean this. So usually I put this then into number 6, and this is the A combinate with 6, and then I can have an amazing box in here, something like that.
Yeah, I'd love to see how that.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
So this is not
Interesting.
like the other fractal, but it would be like there's this crowd of people, and now there's this
Yeah.
fractal thing in there.
Super interesting.
Um,
And then it reacts like the same to the lighting and everything. And it's kind of like immersed in the same world.
exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah. Obviously, it doesn't have a texture, so I think I did it. I did do a trick there with that. Wait, calculation 1. I did a trick with the texture of the picture that you just showed.
Mm-hmm.
That is different, because otherwise they would all be green or all be white or all be
Right.
like
Whatever
one
the
single color.
right. Why
So
is
I don't know exactly how I did it, but here you
why
could
does your
yeah.
viewport versus your render have such different colors? Is that just you are rendering out like different passes or something?
Yeah, that has to do. No, it also has to do with okay, it doesn't now. It That has to do with the the DE stop. The so basically that's distant estimation stop,
Uh-huh.
and that is always
Huh,
something that you have to
interesting.
change constantly, or you have to be aware of at least.
Uh-huh.
And the color is often based on the distance estimation. So depending
Huh.
on, so basically what happens when I get this really large, it blows up like a balloon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it means it's just calculating less detail.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Oh, it's
And
calculating less
changing
detail.
that
Gotcha.
also changes the color.
Why does
Yeah,
it change the
like the
color?
lower it is or the
Is
closer
the
to
color
0 it is,
representing something?
because the color is calculated depending on what the distance estimation is.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of annoying, and it doesn't
Interesting.
always have to be. So if I go in a different mode, if I go
Right, you
to,
can change the way that it's
so
colored.
if I have to, let me see here. Yeah, you can have this on 2 choice. So if I have this on 2 choice,
Huh.
and then if I change the D stop,
The
it's going
color
to keep the
stays.
color,
Interesting.
because now the color is based on a different calculation. But
Interesting.
yeah, this is kind of annoying. Obviously, these colors are just like the standard colors. I would never render this, but it's kind of the way it works,
We
unfortunately,
got another
sometimes.
question here while we're in this topic from Jacob
Sure.
Venison. Shout out Jacob. He's asking for this depth map technique, does it have to be a single image, or can you also send in a sequence of depth images to animate the model? Good question. Oh, Julius, you there? I think I lost your.
Actually, in one of the later versions
Sorry, I lost you there for a second.
sorry,
Can you just start from
yeah,
the answer from the beginning? Sorry.
sure. I think I lost you too, but I think I heard the question. Can you also animate these? I think the answer is yes. I haven't actually done it, but there's a way to get animated
Image
textures
sequence.
in Mandelbulb. Yeah, exactly. Image sequences instead of as a texture. So I imagine, wait, no, it wouldn't, because you have to, no, I think as a depth map, it's not possible. But this would be relatively easy to probably implement
Mm-hmm.
if you sort of like pester one of the sort of still active developers. I don't think that would be a big problem,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think it's gonna really look nice anyway, because it'll be more like
Right.
someone is moving underneath a sheet than that the actual person is moving. You're not gonna have. It's very limited in how you can use it really. Um,
Can you show just like a quick I don't know how quick or easy it is, but can you show like how to like a boolean? So let's say you take one of those faces of the Meshuggah guys, and can you
yeah,
like boolean that into a fractal so the fractal is like the face almost?
let's do it.
I'm always interested in that.
Um, yeah, this was basically where this was the I don't know who did this first, but one of the guys on the Mandelbulb Maniacs Facebook forum at
Mm-hmm.
the time, and this was like one of the coolest things. So okay, let's get the Meshuggah guys. 706. So we have to do a few things here. Let me just first of all get that face the right height. Here we go. No, we're not there yet. Oh yeah, I changed this. Okay, actually that's fine. Oh, 05. But then this is probably minus 25 or something like that. Okay, good. Yep. Now let's push it down. So H offset. All right. And now we gotta, hmm. Oh, okay, we should have used the other one. Okay, that's fine. Okay, whatever. Okay, now I'm gonna make sure that his face is inside this cube. So right now the Boolean is basically A plus B. So A would be the Mendel box cube, and B would be the face. So I'm just going to make sure that this is inside that box. All right. View to main. And now I'm just going to change the Boolean operation to whichever one it should be. Is it max or invert max? Let me see which one it is. Yeah, this is the one. So
Damn, that's so cool.
now now we basically have his face made of this Mendel. Wait, what happens? Okay.
Have you messed with this workflow at all, like on a production level, or not really?
Yeah, I did
Awesome.
for the Meshuggah video. That's why I have this. Oh, you lost me. Are
No, no,
you?
I can hear you. I can hear
Yeah.
you.
So I said yes for the Meshuggah video.
Gotcha.
Um, let me pull it up if I can find it. Um, so
Yeah, I've seen this before.
uh, so like every scene ends basically. We're going through this fractal and it ends with
A face.
with these faces, and at the very end, although they have this stupid end screen here, but
It's so stupid.
we've got all the faces together. So that's what it was super useful for. I think it's maybe the only. Oh, and I made another one with like Amsterdam houses type of thing.
Gotcha.
But yeah,
Maybe this is
uh,
a stupid
getting
question,
this a
but
bit
like if
smaller.
you can like zoom infinitely into this thing now.
Yeah. So the fractal itself, you can zoom infinitely in,
Right.
like you would normal
Right.
with a fractal. Of course, the the part that's boolean. So it's right. It's how do you call this type of
Damn.
booleans? Like A and B. So
Right.
only where both the face is and the fractal is, it actually
Difference.
shows material. So what happens if I so if I move into this like part where there's noses where we're seeing more fractal stuff, we're just gonna
Mm-hmm.
see fractal stuff,
Damn.
and we'll just zoom into the fractal stuff. But if I end on a place where like this, where somehow the edge of his face is inside, so you can sort of tell here a little bit by these dimples that we're sort of getting to the limit of the 3D model
Uh-huh.
or the height map buffer,
Right.
but the fractal is still infinite, so we can still zoom into this
Right.
stuff.
Shit.
Yeah, this is a really cool method
Super
for
cool.
sure.
I mean, it's like it's a little bit static, right? Like you don't have the full. It's not like animated per se, but I guess you could still animate the fractal within the Boolean.
Oh yeah, you could animate the fractal, or you could um, wait, what happens to the oh yeah the offset? Wait, oh scale. Here we go. So you could maybe move his face through here or make it.
Right.
Oh, here we go too
Oh,
far.
interesting.
But you would sort of see the trick maybe at some point. But it could be an interesting thing. I mean, we can try it. Let's make a like a keyframe, and then we'll make a keyframe here. We'll just move his face, and we'll just move the camera along a little bit. I'll make another keyframe, and let's
Okay, but I want it rendered at
render that.
4K, 32-bit.
Okay. Well, then
To wait a
gotta
few
get my
hours.
render farm.
Yeah. Fired
But
up.
this will like this will play when this is when this is yeah. So yeah, this is a pretty quick way to sort of see.
Preview and animation. Is it
But
you're
yeah,
just
this
previewing
is
it
a
at low resolution, or is it just like also like a it's like a
yeah,
whole
yeah I'm previewing it at low resolution.
damn
This
dude.
is like an animation preview built in. So here we'll just see some. Basically, you can sort of like see the internal like holes
Right.
moving through the 3D
Yeah.
model.
Yeah, it's super cool.
So yeah, he's not going to be singing, but it can still be some pretty cool effects. Yeah, for sure. But
Yeah,
it's also
booleaning
a really nice 3D model. Yeah.
booleaning fractals I think is like for me that's like super interesting and fun because it's like now you can kind of create like we were talking about before, you know, like you have this abstraction inside of this clear object of some sort. I know you can do it
Yeah.
like pretty somewhat easily with the machina infinitum fractals, but those obviously they're not like endless, so you know it's not the same kind of cool. Like being able to go into like a being able to start inside of a massively zoomed fractal and then coming out and it's a shape of a face is so cool. I don't know, there's something so
Yeah.
cool about it. You've obviously realized
Yeah.
how cool it
Exactly.
was years
That's.
ago, but I'm just like this
I
is
mean, yeah,
cool.
that was basically that was the whole setup for the Meshuggah thing. Yeah, we're sort of
Yeah.
like moving out of these giant shapes. I'm just trying to find. Um, I'm trying to find another one I did with all these
Amsterdam.
like. Yeah, forgot what it was called. So too many names. Okay, well, if I can't find it here,
See if I can
so
find it as
strange.
well. Fractal nature? No, that's
No, that was called something like. Oh, here, yeah, it is fractal nature. You're
it is
right.
fractal nature, yeah, yeah.
It is fractal nature.
I love how Julius you have all the what's it called uh, the actual formula on your website behind each video. It's so cool.
Yeah, I haven't done that for a while,
I love that.
but I
It's
should
so
update
awesome.
them. Yeah, they're sort of the old ones. So here, this is basically just a little street in Amsterdam, right?
Huh.
Which is then fractalized
I don't know. This
in that
technique is
way.
so fucking cool, but it's also like I guess you're at the level where you can like find a cool. You know, we were talking about this a lot in your first interview. How you're an explorer of fractals. If you explore a fractal enough, I'm sure you can find something that looks kind of like that, anyways. Right? Looks like a street, anyways.
I mean, I at first I think I thought this that was true, that you would sort of find any type so you could sort of find a street, but there is definitely also limits. So I wish that was more true than it is, I guess.
Mm,
I
mm,
can't find every shape.
mm,
No, that's not quite the way that works.
mm. Interesting.
But but yeah, for instance, this is like a person who's standing there, like, on her phone, basically against the wall, and
Little
then you
did she
get
know
like,
she was gonna become a fractal.
well, she did, she
She
knew,
did.
but
Okay, okay.
but but yeah, then you get this, yeah, and so you have to get the fractal just right with the Boolean, but then you can get these sort of like effects. Yeah,
Hmm,
yeah.
I love it. I love it. Well, I mean, we can is maybe just a few more minutes of just kind of this process
Yeah,
here.
absolutely.
It's so interesting.
With the
This kind of
Booleans.
with the Boolean, yeah, it's very interesting. But we will move on soon for sure. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, can you like I love being able to tell you what to do. This is very fun for me. Can you zoom in infinitely here, like just to get like a super zoom, or at least like whatever somewhere where it's like completely not the shape of the face? Because I guess it's just like it's
You mean
literally
like,
just
then I
like
like,
cutting it out. It's not like anything. It's not like the fractal's going to be more different inside.
wait, can you repeat that? I don't quite
It's not like
think
the
I get
fractal's going to be
what you
different
meant.
inside when you zoom in. Now that it's Boolean, right? It's going to be the same zoom that you would do on a normal fractal. It's just the edges are Boolean.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. Only the edges. Yeah. So like inside of the face, the normal fractal is there. It
Right.
does take much longer to render because it sort of needs to, for every iteration, it also needs to know the whole thing. So it's
Gotcha.
much slower than it is than it would otherwise be.
Gotcha.
But
Interesting.
uh, but yeah, it's a so if I do a fractal zoom, I would just and I would make some keyframes. I'll just press. But this is going to be pretty like a simple fractal pretty soon. Or with simple, I mean this, like the standard Mandelbulb. And then from here, yeah, you're just going to have a zoom, which is still cool, of course. I'm doing these zooms now for my new dome film as well, which I think, hey, wait a second, this is weird. Something is weird here.
Oh,
It's not giving me the right, okay, this is a strange bug. Like, what
nice.
happened?
We found a fractal bug. Fractal bugs are crazy because they're bugs inside of a bug inside of a bug inside of a bug inside of a bug.
Nice. Um, okay, actually, now it seems fine. I have no idea what just happened. So yeah, with these full dome films, I didn't do many fractal zooms in the recombination. I think there's only one,
Hmm.
but now I'm doing a few, which I think in a dome, especially LED domes, which are now coming,
Will
that's
be
going to
super
be just
crazy. Yeah,
absolutely insane. Yeah.
yeah. So when you say you don't
Um,
do zooms on in the recombination, are you just like you're just moving along a fractal instead of zooming into it? Is that like
yeah,
accurate?
that's pretty much right. Just when you're just
Okay.
moving through a tunnel, you're not
Right.
zooming. You're not doing the fractal zoom. Like the scale of the world
Uh-huh.
isn't changing.
Uh-huh.
Or were you just doing like a
Interesting.
normal camera motion? Like
That's such a
really, these fractal
weird thing to
zooms are
think
this.
about.
Uh, I guess what do
Well,
you mean
because when you
exactly?
think
Why
about
is
like
that
when you
weird?
think about like when a camera zooms in, right? You're not like if I zoom in with my camera, whatever, to like a tree or
Mm,
something, if I it's the same thing as if
yeah.
I like move towards that tree, right? You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like
No, it isn't. It like literally isn't. And that's I think when I say zoom, I actually don't mean zoom. When you zoom
right,
into, you're just like standing still. You're doing like what old people with like VHS cameras did. You know, you like
right,
zoom in. You're not
right.
moving at all. You're
No,
just
for sure.
changing the lens. Yeah.
Right.
But when you're moving closer to a tree, that's a different effect.
It
Would
is.
you
But I'm
agree?
saying like in no, 100% different, 100% different. But I'm saying like in terms of like the final thing, the the final thing is getting closer to that thing, right? But you're saying like if I'm moving along a fractal, I'm still getting closer and further away from things, but it's not the same as like formulaically zooming into it and expanding and expanding and expanding. Does that make sense? Like if I moved my camera in your fractal closer to something, I'm not necessarily zooming in on it, but I'm getting closer to it.
Yeah, yeah. So that's yeah, exactly. So with a fractal zoom, that's exactly what I mean. You're getting closer to it. But the thing is, with getting closer to a tree, doesn't really do it justice. I would say, do you remember like a Google Earth zoom? I don't like Google
Yeah,
Earth isn't really a thing anymore because now you have like it's all built into
it's
Google
in the
Maps.
map. Yeah,
But when you, yeah, but so you start with the whole world, the whole
globe. Yeah,
globe, and you're sort of zooming into it. But as you get closer to the surface, you're sort of slowing down, but you don't notice that you're slowing down
right.
because basically when you go from seeing the whole world to only seeing America or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you've just literally moved, like a 30,000, I don't know, kilometers or whatever.
Right,
Like
right,
a
right, right,
really,
right.
and then when you're getting closer, you're actually slowing down, slowing down, slowing down until you're like at the city level or at the street level. You're moving much, much closer. But it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't feel like you're moving closer because it's sort of like it seems like you're so okay, we got this like rendered out in preview now. So we're actually changing like we're getting smaller and smaller and smaller, or we are like we keep on moving right now, but we're moving slower and slower and slower, even though it
Oh,
doesn't feel like we're moving slower. But first we were moving kilometers per hour or miles per hour, and now we're moving nanometers per hour at the end.
yeah,
There's
I
this
get it.
like logarithmic exponential curve that
Yeah.
doesn't feel like an exponential curve.
Okay,
And
so
this is kind of tricky. Yeah.
this is the zoom, right? But if you moved the camera forward, it would
No, no,
look
no.
totally
It's so
different.
no, no, no. This is not a zoom. This is the
This
moving.
is not a
This is
zoom.
the camera moving forward. Yeah.
Gotcha. But
The
because
the
the algor
the field of view of the camera is the same.
hmm
And when you render for immersive, like
hmm
for VR or for domes, you
hmm
cannot zoom. You don't have control over the field of view of the camera. You're
uh-huh.
always rendering with fisheye. You can't really zoom. Well, you could, but then your perspective wouldn't work anymore. So
So this is
every motion
almost
that you do is always a traveling camera. It's a dolly.
gotcha.
That,
It's a dolly.
that's the actual. It's a dolly, and but we all call it a fractal zoom, but it should actually be called a fractal
A
dolly.
fractal dolly.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
Okay, so I get what you're saying. So because the surface, the closer you get to it, it's kind of like doing some calculation of like it seems like it's the same speed, but really you're so close to something that you're going
yeah.
slower and slower and slower. And slower.
Otherwise, you would
Interesting.
just hit it, and you go right through it. If you move to
Right.
like towards a tree, you'll
Too
just hit
fast.
the tree, and that'll be the end of it. If you
Right.
want to do this with a tree, then you'll end up with like a super microscopic lens going like
Right. Very slowly.
nanometers like per hour, um, doing that, but you'll never hit it. It's like this line that will never hit the surface because it always gets closer
Gotcha.
to the surface,
Gotcha.
but it'll never actually
Okay, so it's not
touch
like
the surface.
okay. I guess the wording
Yeah,
is confusing because like you said fractal. When I hear fractal zoom, I'm
yeah,
thinking that you're zooming in, but really, like you're saying, it's not. It's the same thing as just like moving forward and closer, and it's doing
that's
that
right.
kind of calculation. Interesting. Wow, it's so
Let
cool.
me find let me find another example of that that I rendered out. So it's called Mixpinsky Zoom. I don't know how well this streams, but this is basically a dome
Hmm.
shot.
Yeah,
So
this one.
you're seeing a circle, but as this is going, we are getting closer at some point. So it's just a travel forward that when you get
But it's
closer to the
endless.
surface, it's endless. But we're also going deeper. Like we're getting smaller. We're turning
Uh
into
huh.
Ant-Man as we sort of like get closer to the
We're
surface. But
turning
because
into
fractals
Ant
look the
Man.
same,
I
because
love it.
fractals look the same at every scale, you don't
Right.
see it. But if you see
Right.
it in a dome, you will sort of feel it. You will like lose the sense of
Dude, you
scale
know
and
what'd be
like this little thing.
such a cool effect is like once you reach like the Ant Man level or with the nano level, like
Hmm.
um, looking at yourself from outside or something. You know what I mean? Like, cause like, it's like a like you said, you're not like actually like the dome. The circle is a circle, and you're just going closer and closer and closer, and then moving slower and slower and slower and slower and slower and slower, looking at yourself from like further away, like you this crazy zoom, like a minute zoom or whatever. You're thinking, oh, I traveled so far, but really you didn't travel that far. You know what I mean? And having that perspective of like how far you traveled, I don't know, could be interesting.
Okay. Right.
Like some sort of
Yeah.
visualization of how fast you're going versus how far you're going while you're going into
Right.
the fractal.
Yeah. But you're still because but you're becoming smaller. So then
Small.
for the smaller you, you're still traveling pretty fast.
Right,
It's just
right.
that you're now a nano person.
It's all relative. Julius
Yeah, it's relative.
Ant-Man Horsthuis. I like that. It's your new your new nickname. Super cool, dude. Thank you so much for showing us a little bit more into the fractal universe and um, such cool workflows with this Boolean thing. I really love it. I wish I had the time to dive deeper into Mandelbulb. It's like it's like so like not addictive, but it's like so inviting to want to like jump into it, but it's also like another whole thing to learn that I just don't have
Yeah, it is.
time
It is a
for.
whole thing to learn. Which,
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to start learning it today, I probably wouldn't have
For
the
sure.
the headspace anymore. To
For
Yeah,
sure.
I think there's just like one moment in life that you'd sort of have that or something, and
You
then you
decide.
can't.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, super fascinating. And really thank you for showing us that. Thanks for the chat for giving us a good poll for that. We're going to jump in now to the last portion of our stream. So if there's any questions, please ask them now because we're getting towards the end here. I had a question that I kind of wanted to ask you. It's kind of we kind of spoke about it a little bit, but I feel like it's such an interesting topic that we could talk about for longer. But kind of like the idea of immersive, like you kind of mentioned like how do you approach the storytelling aspect of things, but then there's also like the aspect of like what is immersiveness? Like what is an immersive installation? You know, because it's like okay, I when I'm in a movie theater, I'm super immersed into the movie, right? Like I'm immersed in that thing. It's an immersive experience. But when we talk about like an immersive exhibit, it's more than just a screen in front of you. There's a lot of other things going on. If it's the floor, if it's the 360 wrap, if it's like the way you kind of move in between the different rooms. And then also there's tons of immersive places that aren't even an intricate room. It's just literally a four wall kind of thing or like an installation that kind of evokes some sort of feeling of immersiveness. Tao actually, who I'm not sure if he's still here, but Tao had an awesome exhibit in this Cinema Mystica, which is an exhibit in Budapest, and I think it's in Budapest. I hope that's right. And there's a room there that's like this mirror room that's like kind of like a wall, but then there's mirrors everywhere, so it kind of feels infinite. So you're immersed in it. But yeah, I mean, I guess the question is like, what is immersive to you, and how do you kind of like approach uh, like making something for that immersiveness to make it immersive? If that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. This is a bit of a like the word immersive is super like there's so many different people who have different meanings about it or different give it different meanings. There's this I think I don't know how to say, but there's this like committee type of something here in the Netherlands where that's helps immersive artists. And I was on the panel once, but before I was invited, I they called me and it was like, hey, would you like to come? It's like yes, but what do you what do you call immersive? What is like? And she didn't want to answer the question. She said, oh no, we had that discussion, and I don't even want to go there. Just come. I was like, okay, fine. It turns out that almost everyone there was, in my idea, talking about interactive media. So, and for them, immersive was like theater. Theater was immersive, just like a theater play. Other people said,
Mm-hmm.
well, a book can be immersive as well. And yeah,
Right.
sure, you can immerse
Right.
yourself in everything exactly. But so for them, it was much more about like audience interaction,
Mm-hmm.
which is what I don't really do. Like none of my work is interactive, and almost none of it was about screens that encompass your field of view. So, and that is much more what I call immersive.
Right.
If the screen completely surrounds you so that you don't have any other visual references anymore, or you don't see the edges of the screen,
Mm-hmm.
then we can talk about this is an immersive space. Obviously, in a place like Atelier de Lumière or Artec House,
Delumiere.
doesn't really have that, but um, but they're sort of approaching it, right? So for me, that is really the the key to what immersion is. And I think it sort of really makes sense. But I think people, if you like, I think I like just to make an analogy with sound or music.
Okay.
When you go to a concert hall or to, I mean, I guess like a Tipper concert is like loud enough to drown out other sounds. But anybody who would go to a classical concert would, if if there's any other sound, then like there's like other people talking or something, like everybody would think that ruins the experience. You don't want to hear any other sound but the music.
Right.
This is sort of expected.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same would work for immersive. Like, I don't want to see anything else. And even if you go to, sure, you can sit in a cinema screen and you can forget that the screen is there, but you still see the screen, you still see the walls, you see the people in front of you.
Totally.
And I think that's sort of like where that lies. My I want to really feel like I'm there in the whatever place it is. I don't want to see the theater that I'm in, or I don't want to see the headset that I'm wearing, or I don't want to like that. I think for me is immersive. Just to
Mm-hmm.
have that same the quietness for your eyes, where everything that your eyes see is the is the is the virtual space or the yeah. Does that make sense?
Totally.
I know that is not what most people would call
Think about
immersive, and that's
immersive.
why it's a
Yeah.
problem. Immersive just means basically, um, you know, underwater. It's basically what it like literally translates to.
Immersion.
Yeah, yeah, mer, like in French, right? Um, but yeah, it's a weird thing. So for me, it's really about what I want is I want people to feel that they're there. I want to transport them to other places in audio and video, and domes are a good way to do that. VR is a good way to do that, and these immersive spaces can sort of approach that, but
Yeah.
not quite as good. A dome is a really good, especially LED domes. They're just perfect for that.
Yeah. LED domes are amazing. No, I think you're. I think that's a really good answer. It's like also there's a huge difference between immersive and interactive. Interactive is immersive, but immersive doesn't necessarily have to be interactive.
Yeah,
I think
so
that
I mean, I,
those.
I wouldn't say interactive is immersive. I like in my for my definition of immersive, it isn't. Like,
Mhm.
computer game is interactive, but it's not immersive for me. It's just I'm looking at a screen. I
Interesting.
can I can change the.
Okay, so
So
you're
I don't.
saying the
That's
actual,
not what I
the
would.
actual.
Yeah, I want the screen to fill my fields of view.
Right,
So
right.
yeah,
You're
that's
immersed, like
basically it.
literally immersed inside of the
Yeah,
thing. Gotcha.
yeah.
If a book, if a book was all the way around 360, it would be an immersive experience.
No, because it's not a visual medium. I mean,
Okay,
obviously you see the letters, but
I'm
the letters
just joking.
themselves are.
I'm just
But
joking.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I think that's an interesting a way of kind of categorizing it. It's it's funny how these things are always kind of hijacked by marketing and buzzwords and whatever,
It's
and
not
like the
really
meanings.
marketing. It's just other people that have different
Fair enough.
definitions of it, but that definition just doesn't work well for me because there's then no good word for what how would you categorize full domes and VR type of visual experiences
Yeah,
if it
yeah,
also means
yeah.
interaction. It's just such a
No, no,
like a
I
completely
think
different world. Yeah.
yeah, I think that they're separated for sure. I just think that when you have something interactive, it's more immersive than when it's not interactive. Does that make sense? Like what your definition of immersive is this kind of your field of view, so you're literally immersed inside of this thing. But an interactive
I
piece,
do
you don't
disagree.
necessarily.
Yeah, I do disagree. I think I do disagree. For me interaction, it's like I like it. Like I love games. I play games, but when I'm in a museum or something,
Mhm.
and there's like an interactive art piece, I am not immersed.
You're not
I'm
immersed.
like no, I am like super aware
Interesting.
of the fact that I'm in a museum with a weird headset and that I look
Right.
weird. or something. It actually takes me out of the experience and not in the
Interesting.
experience.
Interesting.
Extra interaction doesn't really help me with that. So I can be super immersed when watching a film or something like that. Then you really forget that you're there. But
Right.
with interaction, you're either always thinking, "Oh, that's
I'm
pretty
doing
cool. This is
something.
like super
Right.
responsive," but I'll always be aware of, "Oh, there's a Connect there, or there is like
Gotcha.
whatever system." So, but yeah, this is super personal. But for me, it doesn't work like that.
Totally
Yeah.
subjective. Yeah. Interesting. What games do you play?
Like I've
What are
been
you playing right
playing
now?
Death Stranding. Like yeah,
Oh,
like Death
nice.
Stranding is on
The
my.
new
I never
one?
finish games. Yeah, yeah, the new one. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty fun.
I'm sure it's good.
I love like worlds, like alien worlds or
Open world.
something like
Okay. Okay.
open worlds. I've got the Avatar game as well, which is
Nice. Is
super
it good? I
cool.
haven't played that one.
Like yeah, it's like the story is like meh, but it's beautiful like to be in that other yeah. So like these
Nice.
types of things. Yeah, yeah.
What's that? Not Starfleet, Star something. I
Starfield?
can't.
No,
Uh,
Starfield,
you know,
right? No, what's it
yeah,
called? I have it here.
I don't fucking remember. Star
Yeah, Starfield.
Citizen. Is it Starfield where you can go
Oh,
from planet to planet to planet to planet? Yeah, Starfield. Starfield. Yeah, Starfield.
Starfield is the Bethesda one.
Oh, that's. There's another one that's. Maybe it is Starfield. Maybe I'm
We
confusing.
have
There's like one
you
that.
have No Man's Sky. You can do that.
No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky. That's the one
No
that I
Man's
was thinking
Sky.
about. Have you
Right.
played that before?
Yes. Yeah, I played that. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm not a huge fan um, because at some points I think these planets they're all sort of you sort of see the thing and it's all too procedural in terms of yeah, I think I liked it a little bit, but trying to mine all the
You're
resources or
so
something that's like
you're so funny. Like, oh, I don't
yeah.
want this proceduralness. I want it to be mathematically fractalized and accurate. No, I'm just joking. But
Well,
you're like,
procedural would be that.
no,
Like
for sure.
yeah, when it started coming like, but you do yeah, it isn't the same as these fractals. You very quickly you feel what the code is, even if you don't know what the code is. Yeah.
Right, right.
Um.
Uh, okay, we
Yeah.
got one more question
But
here from Tao. Sorry, what were you gonna say? Just finish your thought.
no, go. No, 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 no. My thought was done.
A tangent maybe, but the difference between physical space and VR, experiencing the space versus more maybe tricking the mind in VR space. Not a question, but thoughts on the difference. Okay, so thoughts on the difference between like physical immersive space versus VR immersive space. Do you find like there's a big difference between the two? And if so, what do you think the big difference
Uh,
is?
yeah. So yeah, the physical immersive space would be a theme park or ride or something like that,
Right,
right? Like that
right,
would
right,
be
right,
like an example of a physical immersive space,
right,
or just or a theater where they have like beautiful sets and all that
right.
kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely, that is a physical immersive space. Yeah, and that is different than one where uh, like VR or domes where your brain is being tricked of being somewhere else and the space is purely digital. Yeah.
I guess a big difference as well would be also like the shared experience. So when you're in a dome or when you're in a ride or whatever, there's other people with you and you're all kind of experiencing the same thing. Whereas VR, you could have 10 people in a headset, but if I look to my right, I'm not going to see anything unless that's part of the VR experiences where they are coding people into the space. So I think that maybe that mixed kind of shared experience is different. It's almost like watching a movie at home versus watching a movie in the theater. You're not really talking to the
Yeah,
people around you, but because everybody's experiencing together, there's that energy that is,
absolutely. That's
palpable.
the big dome between. Sorry, that's the big difference between VR and domes.
Totally.
Which is exactly so. Like it's almost the same experience as in you're going to see this thing, you're going to feel like you're there. But yes, exactly as you say, there's a huge difference in that shared experience versus the solitary experience. And that's why I love domes as well. It's just like something about having all these people sitting there together,
Totally.
experiencing the same thing.
Of course.
They don't have to say anything, but yes, they all feel that
It's like a
we are
shared reality.
yeah. I guess that word also means many things, but yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do
I don't know how
you
you're going to put 10 people in a headset though. That's what you said. How do you put 10 people in a
uh
headset?
well, like a
It's
like
going to be
a
a big
multiplayer
headset.
game. No. Each
Okay,
person
but
has their
they'll.
own headset.
Yes.
But
Okay. Right.
if I
Yeah. Yeah.
look to
Yeah.
the right, there's like an avatar of somebody there, and they're moving. Have you ever done those? I've done a few of those VR. They're like VR immersive interactive experiences where you're in a headset and you're walking around a room, and there's like you're with like two other people. I did like a Marvel one, and you're like Iron Man, and you're like walking around, and if you can see the other people also as Iron Man, and then you're not supposed to take your headset off, but I took my headset off for a second, and it's like this really like blocky kind of like hallway, and then like fake stairs, and it's all like fake, but when you're walking in the VR world, you feel a wall next to you, or you feel you're walking upstairs, and it's super trippy because you're like in this world game, but there's the physical element of like you can see the people next to you and you can touch them or touch a wall or touch a thing, and you're holding a gun, so it's like this whole it's like mixed shared experience. I don't know how to really explain it, but it's
Yeah. Cool.
yeah, it's super cool.
I haven't done it. I've never done that, but yeah, I guess that would seem like something pretty cool to do.
Yeah, it's cool.
I
It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like multiplayer games versus single player games. There's like a totally different experience. You're playing with somebody else versus with yourself, and that other person can affect what's going on in the experience. I guess maybe like a viewing experience is less. It's like more of like a VR chat experience. Like you're kind of with the other person, but they're not there with you. That's kind of like been a lot of the VR push, right? Is you'll put on your headset and go to work, and you'll sit around a table with all the other people. So you're like, it's not a personal experience anymore. It's like a mixed experience. I never really got it, to be honest. I do get like when you're with somebody else physically there, and like I can hold their hand or touch them, and I'm seeing their representation in VR. I get that. I think that's pretty cool. I don't really get like the social aspect of like somebody's not in the same room as me and I'm talking to them as they are. Like this is better. Like this video experience would be better, I feel like, than putting on a headset and seeing an avatar of you. I don't know. Maybe if it's like really high fidelity, it could be cool.
I had that once. Like there was this guy. He wanted to have like a call, and I was like, okay, cool. Is it gonna be Zoom or is it gonna be Google Hangouts or? And he said like, no, no, no. It's gonna be like in VR chat or whatever it was.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
in my living room. I'm sitting in my living room, and there's like this cartoon character. He looked like Goofy from the freaking like floppy ears or something, talking with like a heavy German accent to me.
That's
It was
funny.
like the most weird, like,
Bizarre.
and I have to take that serious. And it's like, and it's just like, I have no idea what's like how you could like seriously have a conversation with someone like that. So yeah,
Well,
I prefer video as well. Yeah,
yeah, I feel like what is it? The Apple headset, the Pro Vision, tried doing those like really high fidelity scans of the
sure.
people when you're talking to them.
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
I feel like there's a future where it could get there, but I don't want to put on a headset. I feel like if we get to a point where, which I feel like is very close, where like you're just using a camera, but the camera can make like a spatial 3D scan, or like a 3D, like almost like a some sort of Gaussian splat, or like some sort of a nerf or something like that. That could be
Hmm.
cool. Because then I can like I could like take your camera feed and like spin around or something, or like look at it from a different place. That's cool. That I'm down for. But putting on a
All right.
headset and then talking to you as if I'm not wearing a headset, I don't get that.
It's
It's
weird,
like,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
All right. Well, that was super fun. Anything you want to share with us before we get out of here? Before I shut this down?
Oh yeah, no, I don't think I would. We touched on a lot of subjects. I don't think there was specifically anything else. I'm afraid not.
Okay. Well, I will say thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to spend time with you and get into your Ant-Man brain. And next time we have you on, I want you to be in the full Ant-Man outfit. That would be cool. Getting ready to go into the nanoverse. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for anybody that tuned in. Any of you guys watching the recording, join us next time. It's always fun to have people to be able to push ideas off of and ask questions. So yeah, that will be our sign off here. And thanks again for joining.
Thanks for having me.
For sure. And let's get out of here. Let's get the audio back. Okay. And we are out. Thanks, dude. That was really fun.
All right. Yeah, super fun.
Thanks for.
I hope that.
Yeah, not a huge turnout, but you know.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure this whole thing out. It's a tough one, but there is value. You know, the recordings do go on the thing, and like, you know, the 3 people that joined us enjoyed it, I'm sure, and they got to ask you questions, so it's good. But yeah, it's weird. Right. It's weird. I can't figure it out. You know, you're famous, you know, so you know, it's like I would think, or whatever. You have a big following.